Welcome back to Speak for Yourself. We've got breaking news in the NBA. The Bucks are not taking the court for Game 5 of their matchup with the Orlando Magic. ESPN is reporting that the Bucks are officially boycotting Game 5. This appears to be in response to the latest police shooting in Wisconsin, something we've never seen before. Slick, Rick, tell us, what is your reaction to what's going on? Have you ever seen anything like this?
The only thing that I can compare it to is going all the way back to All-Star game in the 60s. Bob Cousy and Oscar Robertson refused to come out at halftime until the league recognized a players' union and their ability to collectively bargain, and they held the league hostage in order to get that done, and it was successful as we now have a players' union. But short of that, I've never seen anything like this, and it's an interesting dynamic because I was texting with a player this morning, not on the Bucks, asking, does this boycott idea have any momentum? And he said no. And that was, again, not a Milwaukee Bucks player. They've shown that some of the Magic players are actually out there warming up. So this has clearly been a movement and a decision made by the Milwaukee Bucks as a group, and not collectively with the league. And so it'll be interesting to see how this plays out, considering that they did this independently. Obviously, the incident with Jacob Blake happening in Wisconsin hits a lot closer to home and is more meaningful to the Milwaukee Bucks players. Also had a previous incident with a Bucks player and his treatment by local law enforcement. So this is an issue that this organization has had to address before, but it is an independent movement by the Milwaukee Bucks. This is not a collective. And now it's going to be interesting, guys, to see how the rest of the league and how these other teams respond now that Milwaukee has taken this stance.
Yeah, Slick, when I look at this, number one, I am proud that these NBA players would be willing to stand together because, remember, before they're basketball players are human beings. Must I remind you, Jaylen Brown of the Celtics, he drove overnight 14 hours to march in Atlanta. Giannis Antetokounmpo, he also peacefully protested amidst the chaos that was going on in our community. However, my proposal and submission is, what next? If these players are going to boycott, I would hope that just put the ball down, let the quarter or the game or whatever you want to run out, pull some chairs on out the court, and then host a forum, a presser, talk about these issues to educate the community, to educate our nation based on your experience, because like Marcellus said, your experience is therefore your expertise. But simply by boycotting, you may allow fans and viewers to just go somewhere else instead of focusing on exactly what it is you're trying to draw attention to. Kudos to the players for realizing there are things more important to life than basketball. Now let's just continue to move those steps and those action items forward by true conversations that can move the needle.
Yeah, just going back to how I planned out my life, how I was told by people I respected, people who were my elders, whether it were teachers, people I truly revered that had expertise in anything. You got to plan your next now. And it's interesting, as Acho says, how do you evolve the boycott? I understand what the intentions of the boycott are, but what comes from that boycott? The NBA employed and empowered these players to take this exact measure and this exact stance. With Black Lives Matter and all the social justice issues and messaging on their jerseys, that was going to start. And that was going to snowball into a situation and an unfortunate circumstance that just happened in Milwaukee, and now we're here. I'm not upset at that. I just want people to know that I don't see how this boycott of today is going to give the direct, proper medicine to this societal ill. That's my cause. I don't need anything else except the medicine that helps me cure this. And let's be real about this. This situation has been going on long before the NBA, and it's unfortunate that this is a part of human society, human civilization. This is not just in the moment. We are now discovering something new, as I talked about with Acho last block, about all the different times through my lifetime growing up that I've been in the same place that we are right now. And the NBA and any professional league initially when I was growing up, And for these guys as well, the onus was to give them an opportunity to play the game they love and to provide generational wealth. It obviously is going to envelop more than that, but I would like to know where is it going as it grows into more than that.
Yeah, that's an important point, and that's what I struggle with this boycott, considering that it appears that it wasn't a collective decision by the NBA teams or the NBA players. It was a decision made by the Milwaukee Bucks. And now everyone is drawn into having to follow suit and is impacted by it. And not having a voice in making that decision, I think, is unfair, as crazy as that might sound, unfair to everyone else who now has to act accordingly. The other part for me is, if you really care about this cause, and we've seen this with Colin Kaepernick and any number of athletes, you have to be very exact in what you're doing and why you're doing it. And by boycotting, by not playing, what is your point? Who are you protesting and who are you trying to hurt? Are you protesting against the fans that would otherwise be watching you? Are you protesting against the NBA because they haven't taken a certain amount of action? And what is the end game? What are you willing to do? Not play another game? I just hope that there was more thought put into this than is indicated at this point, based on the reaction that I was getting from a player inside the bubble and where this was going to go. You have to come correct. We saw it with Colin Kaepernick. You can have a cause, but if you are not rock solid in how you present that, it is ultimately going to be picked apart, and it is going to undermine the cause that you are fighting for.